All right, and we are back with the bottom section of the middle page of our newspaper. And I know that we don't always read all these sections together when we are in class, but since we can't be together to go through this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and go through it with you here. There's one section that I won't read. I'm going to skip this section here on respect because I think that'd be a good one for you to read and talk about with your parents. So I am going to skip that one, but I'll read the other three sections and help you with any highlighting you need so that you're able to answer your questions when that assignment is released. So we're going to look over here at this section called How Romantic. Ooh la la. When Arizona became a state, it was kind of a big deal because then everything that happened in the state became a first. And who doesn't want to be the first one to do something cool? I'm sure some of you have been the first at anything. So this would be a good opportunity to talk to your parents about something that you have ever been first at. Maybe you've been the first to walk into your classroom or the first in your class to become an aunt or uncle. Well, Joe Melser and Hazel Goldberg wanted to be the first couple to be married in the state of Arizona. You're going to see those names appear later on, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. They got everything ready and waited for the telegraph to start ticking. When they got the message that Arizona was a state, they quickly began the ceremony and said "I do" to each other. Even if the message hadn't come, they picked a pretty good date to be married, remember? Arizona became a state on Valentine's Day. There must have been a lot of noise to help them celebrate. The couple also had a famous ring bearer. Well, he wasn't famous at the time, but the little 3-year-old boy was Barry Goldwater, now known as the late Senator Barry Goldwater. He grew up to become one of Arizona's most famous politicians and even ran for president once. He lost to Lyndon Johnson, our 37th president. Now, when I'm in the classroom and I'm reading through this with students, this is something I really like to bring up because to me, it's absolutely fascinating. I know I've told most of my students that Mr. Thielander grew up in Arizona. I did not. I grew up in Chicago, but Mr. Thielander is an Arizona native and his family are Arizona natives as well. And his grandparents, and I know his grandfather's name was W. Vincent Thielander the First because my Mr. Thielander is W. Vincent Thielander the Third. And his grandmother, I believe her name was Beverly Thielander. They actually were friends with the Goldwaters way back then. So that's kind of cool that I have a little bit of a connection to the Goldwater family. Mr. Thielander's family was very, very well known in Arizona in the early days because they had been around for quite some time. All right, continuing on to this next section here about the Great Seal. The Great Seal is pretty important. You might remember seeing it. Here it is right here. You might remember seeing it on the floor of the Capitol building. It's that big mosaic on the floor of the Capitol building, which is pretty cool. The Great Seal is an official symbol of our state. It is on all public documents that are signed by the governor. The seal has mountain ranges, a rising sun, a reservoir or lake, a dam, fields, orchards, grazing cattle, and a miner. The words Dietat Deus, meaning God enriches, is also on the seal. The Secretary of State is the keeper of the seal. Sidney P. Osborne, Arizona's first Secretary of State, was the first to use the seal in 1912 on a document signed by the first governor of the state of Arizona, George W.P. Hunt. I'm going to highlight that right there because we're going to see that when we are ready to answer our questions. You can learn more about the seal and see a picture of the Great Seal of Arizona at the website listed right here. And last but not least, we have some information on the ring-tailed cat. He's a pretty cute little guy there. He's got a nice long stripedy tail. Did you know that our state mammal is a cat that's not really a cat? So there we go. This is our state mammal. So we want to highlight those words right there, state mammal. It just looks like a cat and has the word cat in its name, but it's really part of the raccoon family. We want to highlight those words too because we're going to see that on our questions. The ring-tailed cat grows to about 30 inches long, but half of its size is its tail. That is a very long tail he's got there. It has a yellowish gray body with white and brown rings on its tail. The ringtail hunts at night and loves to eat small mammals, birds, insects, lizards, and fruit. I know I'm supposed to say yum there, but the whole idea of eating small mammals, birds, insects, and lizards is not a yum to me, but I will definitely say yum to the fruit. The ring-tailed cat is mostly found in the southwest, but some have been seen as far north as Oregon. It makes its den in rock crevices, hollow logs, ruins of old American Indian dwellings, and old cabins. Hopefully, this helped you this week with me reading these out loud to you, and now that I have learned how to do it, this is something I can continue doing for you each week, and then you can always refer back to these recordings when it comes time to answer your questions. Take care.